All right, Jamie, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. I just can't believe it's been 2 weeks since our last one of these. They
Time
go by
flies,
fast.
and I'm just elated with the spring weather and how beautiful everything is outside. So
Yes.
it's kind of just a great day. People, as you're joining, we are so glad you're joining. Please mention your name. Where are you logging in from? That would be great. Apart from the spring outside, there's a spring here as well. Inside the research center, we have a lot of really cool studies going on. There's a study on type 2 diabetes with weight problems, and it's a weight loss medication. That's super exciting. That's starting soon. I think that will go super fast. We have another study which is looking at patients with type 2 on long acting insulin and not meeting their goals. And for them, there's a couple of different options. So kind of a lot of good things. But the main thing we are here today is kind of this reignite our goals. And I will be a good big beneficiary of that because I'll just say this that I have slacked off on my goal over this time. So I think I'll find this cool. Subha is here. So Subha, good afternoon. Casey from Des Moines. That's good. Welcome everyone, and keep mentioning your names and where you are from. So Joanne from Nashua. Nasha, is that how I say it? Jamie, do you
You know
know?
what? I would be not the right person to ask for
Okay.
that. I
All
can
right.
say Carla from Altoona.
How about that? And Holly from Manchester. So it's great to have you all.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, I'm excited because Dr. B, I don't think you're the only one out there that needs to reignite their goal and kind of get excited about the 2021 resolution goal. As we shared earlier, most people don't meet their goal by the end of the year. We had, this really low stat of like 7% will make it all year. And so we're
Yeah.
hoping to increase our population's ability to make it.
Excellent. So, team, the game today is first of all just knowing that assessing your progress on a weekly basis increases your chances substantially of meeting your goal. So, that's one key thing assessing weekly. So, kind of the list today is evaluate your progress on how you're doing, and then learn how to stay motivated or get remotivated, and then see how you can be accountable with this cool diabuddy system. So that's kind of the exciting part today. I'll just do intros just in case we have new people here. I'm Dr. Bhargava, Dr. B, endocrinologist, very interested in diabetes. And I have with me Jamie Pedlik, pharmacist, very, very passionate about diabetes. And it has been fun to do these things together over time. So I think we can get started at this point. So, Jamie, you can take it away.
Yeah. Let me just advance the slide. Just reminder, we are trying to build this community awareness and this teamwork together on Facebook. So by doing this, we are doing a community builder award. So the person who is the most engaged on our Facebook group, the one that is commenting, giving support, showing ideas, we're going to do a monthly award. And this is the last week of the month. So we actually get to make that announcement today. I'm really excited about that, and we'll be working on that. We also have been asking you guys questions prior, and having you guys pre-submit questions. And so, Dr. Bhargava, there is a question that was pre-submitted, and I wanted to ask it to you. So it's by Courtney. She's saying that her son takes Lantus at night and is generally normal. By the middle of the night through early morning, he tends to rise to about 220, 280. What's going on? Is this normal?
Well, Courtney, thanks for the question, and hopefully you are listening. And by the way, folks are hearing later, please also ask questions, make comments, because we will answer them after the fact as well. So, starting with normal sugars at night and high in the next morning is not normal to that extent, and that needs to be looked at. And now there's two, three different reasons. Two, especially if your sugar at night is normal. One is that he might be having hypoglycemia in the middle of the night and rebounding. So that's one thing. The other is that Lantus is just not enough, and things start going up. And in the early morning hours, most of us have the dawn phenomenon where the other hormones that counteract insulin and increase sugars, they go on a high drive. So then we have high sugars because of that. So it could be one of those things. How do you find out? You check your blood sugar about 2 or 3 in the morning. And if it's not dipping down and then it's slowly going up, that means you need more Lantus. And if it's only for those few hours, then maybe even a pump. So, Courtney, thanks for that question.
Just a reminder, ask us your questions. We are here for you. If you're not able to make it, you can pre-submit them just like Courtney did, and we will make sure that we answer them that week. But otherwise, we are here to answer your questions either on topic. And if we can't answer it, we'll find you a resource that can answer it. So let us know. We've got a few more people that joined. We've got Kelly. Thanks for joining us, Kelly. And then we've got Dan Olson from Urbandale. So first thing to kick us off is to do a poll. Ask you guys, how are you doing with your 2021 goal? Let us know. We've got a couple of different options that you can pick from. So haven't started it yet, forgot that you even made a goal, still making progress, almost there or achieved. Type in the chat. Let us know how you're doing. We want to know. We made a lot of work over the first 6 weeks of this year. And we know that a lot of you made so much progress on it, and let us know how it's going. So Casey's saying still making progress. Vicky, almost there. That's awesome. Tyler?
Yeah, mine is, I did not forget about it for the most part, but I'm making progress, especially in the last few days. But yes, there are more, quite a few, A, B, C, D. I see all of them.
No E's, which is okay.
Eugene, I do a little better each week and I've started to lose some weight. Now that's exciting. That's really exciting. Joan is ready for some change in the goals. So understand that happens sometimes.
And we'll talk about that today because that's all about the evaluation system. If the goal is not right, we've got to change it and make sure that it's the right goal for you.
Now, Subha has a good one. I made a goal to walk 25 miles a week, and he has been able to keep that goal. That's fantastic. That's kind of the clapping. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Vicky, still drinking pop, not the 54 ounce. So that's great. That's progress. All right. So yeah, I think people are in different stages of this, and that is expected. That is, we know that a lot of people will be at the forgot about it or didn't achieve it by the end of the year, 1 out of 7. So how do we not be like that, and how does our group do better? And that I think really is the goal for today. So.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason why we're bringing this back. I timed it to be in April, just because most people start to wane by the end of February, and in March, maybe lose track of what you were trying to do. I know some of my goals is increasing my water intake, and I stopped tracking, and I did horrible in March in my water intake, and I just restarted tracking, and it's that whole evaluation of how are you doing and bringing it back. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. First thing is, one, we want to make sure that your goal is written down. Those of you who participated in the 2021 challenge at the beginning of the year, you've got it written down in that email, that survey that you filled out. If you want to, writing it down even on paper after that email is good. But if you don't write it down, it's not going to happen. Or if you don't write it down, it never happened. It's kind of a philosophy that I stand by. And so I think, Dr. B, you shared a great video with the Facebook group last week on your story about how your 2021 goal is doing. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, you can. But if you want to give us like a 10-second synopsis of how it's going.
All right. So my goal was I wanted to control my portion size because I think that's my challenge in the evenings. And I think I started pretty well, but I think March is where I really slacked off. I needed those weekly motivators. And so I have some plans, which I'll share with you later, how I'm going to get back on track. I have gained some weight, had some stressful time with work. So that's led to that. But I think this meeting will, again, reignite the goal for me. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think Vicky brings up a really good point and a really good comment. She said this year she picked a goal that she knew she could achieve. Next year, she wants to pick something that challenges me. And as you're evaluating those goals and making them, I would say you've got to do one, if we think smart, that's achievable, but also that is pushes you and challenges you. You want to go a little bit further than you went last time, not maybe 20 steps further, but 5 steps further than what you did last time. So I think that's a great point. Just making sure you're not going too high or too low with those goals that you're setting. So we came across this little exercise that will help your team evaluate your progress. And this is something that you can do every single week. Sit down on a Sunday night, sit down on a Monday morning, whatever works out for your schedule to help you evaluate your progress. So I've got a couple of slides on it, but we also have a worksheet that you guys can download from our group and use and write down things wherever you're tracking. So the first question, where am I in terms of reaching my goal? Halfway there, almost there, haven't started. So reason why I kind of asked that first question, always evaluating where you are. Do I need to change it or reinforce it in order to meet my goal? So do I need to change it, not make it super easy, but do I need to make it realistic or achievable? Because maybe I started my challenge and something drastic happened and I'm now not able to meet that goal. So you are able to change your goals slightly to make sure that you're achieving things and making success happen. What are some of the benefits of achieving this goal that I have set for this? To me, this is huge. This is your why. Why are you trying to achieve this goal? And this will really help you stay motivated if you understand the why behind it. And then what are some of the barriers that are preventing me from meeting this goal? And again, I love this question because if we can eliminate those, if you can first identify what's stopping you from drinking the water, what's stopping you from using the smaller portioned plates and some of those things. If I understand that, then I can make steps or make a plan to change that behavior in order to kind of get over and overcome that barrier.
So, Jamie, if you were to stay on that slide for a second, I think I'm just curious about the why part of it. That's so important. So, I would urge everyone, you guys, if you have a pen and paper, write down what your goal was as the first thing, or wherever you can type it up. But also take a moment to think about the why. What are the benefits? Why exactly are you doing it? So that exercise. So when we write something, there's something that happens. We tend to remember it more. The thinking versus writing, both of them add to our mental memory and impression of that. So I would say just go ahead and while we're doing this, take a moment, and you can even be brave and put it just here, is what was your goal and why? My goal was portion control. Why? Because I wanted to lose some weight. Why? Because I have a strong family history of diabetes and I don't want to get diabetes, and so forth. So that why is such an important piece of this. And I just wanted to underscore that.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you.
Yep, I completely agree. That why keeps me going every time. And it goes for me. Why do I want to do the water? In order to improve my health, in order to stay hydrated so that I can continue to do the activities and be with the people that I love. So all of that is important. So next question for you guys. What has worked well to help me keep getting closer to achieving my goals? So we talk about the barriers. And so many people focus on, the barriers or the negative side, which yes, we need to make sure that we make a plan to get over those barriers, but we also have to figure out the positive side. What is working well? What is keeping you going? What is motivating you? And keep going with those. Continue to use those behaviors so that you can keep making progress that you need. And then what have you done to celebrate the steps that you've taken? So, and remember, celebration, little things. So if I do complete my water intake, that I want to for 7 days in a row, what do? Maybe I then get to watch a movie with my family, or maybe I then get to go out and buy a new shirt. Whatever it is that keeps me motivated, but that celebration piece can be a key factor for many people. Don't maybe go celebrate by having a huge bowl of ice cream. We have to make sure they're healthy celebrations as well. Everything
Well,
in
I think
moderation.
this is a good
Everything in
reminder.
Yes.
This is a good reminder for me because, in general, I'm the one unlikely to celebrate the achievement of a goal, and I think it makes sense. That feeling that of achievement has to be savored. It's worthy of taking a pause and saying, "I did something." So that's a good idea and a good reminder.
Yeah. And then who can I rely on to support me in my goals? And it's that whole idea of having somebody else with you. You guys are not in here, you're not in this battle alone. And you can rely on friends and family and your dia buddy to help you achieve the goals. And really having that person to rely on is an important factor.
Jamie, I believe there was a question that came earlier that I might have missed from Dennis. And his question was, now here, where can I go to learn about carbs, meal decisions, etc.? So are there some webinars you can guide Dennis to?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have several different webinars and Facebook Lives that we've put together. The last few have been on YouTube channel as well. So Casey, if you can shoot out our YouTube channel, you could search on the our channel carbs, or you could search meals, and then we have many different videos on there. We've got Courtney, all the way back to Courtney Slater, talking about her pantry party and what are some good supplies to have in your pantry for patients with diabetes. We've got a cooking demonstration. That was our last one, where we have a renowned chef, Chef Robert Lewis, cooking for us some different recipes. And we're going to have him back, I think, at the end of June to do some more recipes.
And I'll add, Dennis, that you can also, we have dietitians on staff, so you could also arrange appointments through that. So just reach out to us, and that can be done as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We've got straight on our website, we've got some forms that you can submit on iowadiabetes.com if you are interested. And then you would just have to let us know that you're interested in working with our dietitian. So awesome. Those were the main questions that we had, but then it's just sitting down and evaluating those questions and how are your progress weekly, and making sure that you're tracking your progress somehow and tracking your evaluation to keep track of all of this. I've got different things that I track. I've got I call it my life calendar. I've got a to-do list. It tracks my goals. I've got everything in that little calendar that keeps me on track. And so I'm doing this on a weekly basis. So Dr. B, got another question for you before we go to the poll. Got a question for you from Anthony. Anthony was originally diagnosed as type 1 diabetes, but later changed to type 2 without any further testing. He now feels like he's in limbo and can't control his blood sugar. How do I approach my endocrinologist about this? Is what he's asking.
So this is the reverse of the normal. The normal is somebody is deemed a type 2, and then they turn out to be type 1 because they are the latent autoimmune diabetes of the adult. This is different, being diagnosed with type 1 and then type 2. I am guessing that somebody got diagnosed type 1, and over time, all of us gain weight. We develop insulin resistance, and in other words, type 2 diabetes as well. Once you are type 1 and more than about 30 units total a day, you have insulin resistance, and in one sense, type 2 as well. So you could have double diabetes. And in the situation, being open to some medication that can affect on the weight side of things would be helpful. There are some blood tests that can be done as well So talk to your endo about that. Just also know that Iowa Diabetes Care is here, the clinic, and you can be seen here as well if needed.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we've got some different care options. We're always available for different questions like that. We want to know how you guys are staying motivated to achieve your goals. Dr. B and I, we talk all the time to you about how things are going. What are our recommendations to keep you motivated? But we are by no means experts out there. We have some experience, but we don't know everything, and we want to know what you guys are doing. So let us know. So like to call Vicky out a little bit. Vicky, I saw that you have been working a lot on the soda drinking and you've tried to buy new Crystal Light, and it seems like you're making some really good progress. How are you staying motivated to do that?
Cool. Now, in the meantime, while you guys type in what's your motivator, just tell us. I think it will motivate other people and it will remind you of the motivators. There's a question from Kyle, which talks about mom having diabetes on metformin twice a day, Jardiance, and blood sugar is 100, but now on getting COVID. So sorry about that. And fasting blood glucose 130. Should another medication be added? As such, 130 isn't that bad. We should also look at post-meal sugars. If you're reaching 180, 200, there may be some reason to add another agent in the short run. In the long run, she will not need it. In the short run, she may. But the next step is to just monitor more often. And if you start seeing 180, 200s post-meals, that's a time to have a conversation with your doctor. Great question there, and all the best for her.
We've got Suba, who just keeps recording, and his recording and tracking is his motivation. It's similar to me. When I keep track of things, I see the progress that I'm making, and it just keeps me going. Casey says she stays motivated by talking with a friend who has a similar
That's
goal.
a great idea.
I love it. Tyler says, my wife keeps me accountable in achieving my goals. Lost 12 pounds so far this year. That's great. Again, I think having somebody like that accountability partner is great. Rob, because there's somebody chasing you. Curtis is saying for motivation, he involves his family as much as possible. Curtis, I haven't seen you on here before. Welcome. Getting a good diet for everybody. Yeah, that's awesome. Vicky, when I'm at the store, I pass the water and think I've done my ounces, and if I haven't, so kind of keeping a mental track of it.
That's her trigger. Like, hey, you look at this and say, did I drink enough water? If not, so that's a smart idea to find these triggers that make you think, hey, did I do it?
Yeah. Connie is using fear as a motivator. Yep. I know you've talked on here before, not wanting to increase medicines and not wanting to use medicines. So I think your goal is not using medicines and keeping your body healthy and preventing that damage. So good.
Kyle says, my wife and kids. So I think what I'm liking is the involvement of family. That is outstanding. Dennis, more about seeing the glucose and the A1C numbers. If you track that. Courtney has an app called Plant Nanny that tracks the water intake and grows flowers as I drink water. So that's positive imagery. And I've heard about this before. And this is that positive, feel-good imagery that helps. It's a great idea. So the app is called Plant Nanny, if other people want it.
Courtney, I'm actually writing that down right now. Thank you, because I struggle with water intake.
I do too. Carla, I'm going to back to Weight Watchers in-person meeting, and that's a great idea. At some point, I'm going to have Weight Watchers at our office, but we'll see when. And then Laurie says our program, and then husband, and trying to keep accountable. Excellent. Joan talking about Weight Watchers meetings in person, and it will come sooner or later. We'll bring it here. We are Iowa Diabetes. We can do anything we desire, right? So we'll get it done. Excellent. Um, all right, this is great. So I think let's talk about some of these motivators. And I think the focus is not on these. I mean, of course, the fear if motivates someone, but really about positive reinforcement. And I think there's some concepts I wanted to mention today. One is what Jamie touched on earlier, which is celebrating small wins and rewarding yourself when you meet a milestone in your goal. And again, this is something I'm guilty of not doing. You got to pause and say, you know what, today I was good, and that's great. And then using a healthy sort of reward, whatever that is, like treating myself to a fresh bouquet of flowers or a new candle and things like that. I think this is an
Fresh
important
candle
piece.
for you.
Huh?
Fresh
I would,
flower.
yes, of course, let's do it. Um, and then I think there's another technique that's really powerful. It goes to what Jamie talked about earlier, is the why of it all. And this is called the manifesting. And this is the idea of thinking about your goal and thinking about the desired outcome. You know, Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. So think of that end and think about it often. So think about it. What would it look like when you have achieved your goal? How would you feel? How would you look? So, what were the benefits that you would achieve by then? So, just think about that end statement and think about it often. So, I'll show you my vision board we created last time after this portion control exercise. So, I'll just walk you through this. So, my strategy was portion control, and where I suffer the most is in the evenings. So, you can see those smaller plates. Those too small will make me starve, but that's okay. I'll try. The bread that I like is called roti, which is the Indian tortilla. And I've been trying to restrict myself to two instead of three. And I've been a little more successful. My wife is a great cook and she loves to feed. So her default is three. And I'm saying, hey, I need two going forward. The dining table in my vision board. Why? Because I want to move away from the kitchen table. So the farther I am from, the less likely I am to take the refill. And then the big toothbrush, because if I can brush my teeth right after supper, I'm golden. I don't eat anything because I'm too lazy to brush a third time in a day. So that's kind of my vision board. But you know, when I met my trainer, I had this vision. Jamie, if you want to show that, that's my ultimate driver. I'll never get there at this age, but the six packs right there. So now I have a perfect vision board. I'm going to just print this and put it in a couple of places in my house. Well, so that's my vision board. I would ask you to think about what your vision board looks like. And Casey has a great idea about cutting images out of magazines. You find something, take that image and make a vision board. Or like Vicky said, the trigger, see the water and you say, did I drink my water? And keep it fun. I'll never get there, but hey, at least it's there on my vision board. So that's the process. And then doing it frequently, right? This end vision, just think about it often, you know, in the evenings before going to bed, at another time. So whatever works for you, just think about that in the shower. And then it's all about goals, but keep things fun. That's so important. I like to tell all my patients, any changes that you make in your lifestyle should be pleasant and enjoyable. If they can give you joy, even better. You know, how do you keep things fun? And you guys already answered that. You know, friends, family, the social part of it. I'm excited about the Diabuddy system. By the way, that was a great play. Casey Morgan, the marketing group did that. I said, wow, that's a cool idea. So, Jamie, that's kind of some of the things I want to talk about in the goals.
Yeah.
What about you? What you want to add to that?
Just a couple of comments that I'm seeing. I mean, Vicky is saying she has a six pack, and so in her fridge.
Okay.
As long as it's diet soda.
Okay.
And then Chef Robert Lewis is on here, so I want to give a shout out. And then Casey, our marketer, informed me today that shrimp scampi tomorrow is National Shrimp Scampi Day. And so we're going to be replaying and kind of pushing our video with Chef Robert Lewis on National Shrimp Scampi Day for the video that we created.
We were 15 days early or something, I guess. We should have done it now. Okay.
Could have. And then, there's a couple of people that saying that they didn't do with at home Weight Watchers and some of these things, and that some of the closest relatives to them are, a little bit far away, and I think in person to person, great with this, but now technology is really to the place that we can now do a lot of. I do a lot of FaceTiming with my mom, and my kids will FaceTime my mom, 3 times a week, oftentimes. So it's almost as if she's living right in town. They're talking to her so much. So there's so much that you can do on that with technology and getting those relatives in and utilizing that. Have a couple of questions. Yes, Vicky, I was about to read your question on a meloxicam. So we do have that. So Dr. B, I'll read the question. Can you be on meloxicam long term? What is the effect on organs?
So it belongs to the group of NSAIDs, which are for pain management. And in the long run, in my patients with diabetes and high blood pressure, I try to avoid them. They may have impact on blood pressure as well as the kidneys. So talking to the doctor about saying, what are my alternate options would be good. You don't have to stop it tomorrow. If it's helping you, great. It's one of the better NSAIDs. But I think talking to them and saying, what are my options? The Tylenols, the thing that I like the most is the world has come up on biofeedback and relaxation techniques that reduce pain. Mayo Clinic is leading the world in that. So I think it'll be good to look at some of those things. Is there physical therapy or other things that can make the pain better? So that would be some thoughts for you.
Yeah. The next question, she had a two-part question. And this is, she was told that she couldn't eat grapefruit if she took cholesterol medication. And so this, I believe, many of you would find applicable. So there's medications called the statins. They're cholesterol medications. So atorvastatin or Lipitor, rosuvastatin, Crestor, simvastatin, pravastatin. There's many of them in that drug class that interact with grapefruit juice. And it is a drug interaction. It has to do with some of how the body is metabolized in the body, and the grapefruit juice slows down the metabolism so that the drug stays in your body longer. And what that would do is increase your likelihood of getting side effects of those statin drugs. The biggest side effects are going to be muscle pain, also called myalgias, in your major muscle systems. So you feel like you're worked out if you haven't worked out. In order to get that drug interaction between the grapefruit and these statin medications, you have to drink like a gallon of grapefruit juice in a day. If you're eating one grapefruit or half a grapefruit, you won't have a significant interaction. It is drinking large amounts of grapefruit juice that has been shown to have that drug interaction. Great question. I deal with that question quite a bit as a pharmacist. Yeah. So other things that I have to kind of weigh in on, keeping motivated and keeping track, besides the keeping things fun, in my opinion, is don't beat yourself up if you lose track of your goal, or if you mess up one day. And so not beating yourself up when something goes wrong and just getting back on it the next day or the next week and starting over. So I think that's the other point that I would make.
One other thing I would say about keeping with your goals is tracking, right? So for me, I have found it extremely effective that whenever I weigh myself, it changes my behavior in the better way, because usually what I see on the scale, I don't like. So tracking is important. And one of the things I just want to remind you all, there's lots of ways of tracking. For patients with diabetes, and I'm biased on this, but my favorite way is to go to Iowa Diabetes portal, and you can track pretty much everything that you want. You can track your activity. You can connect any of your devices, and then it'll show it to you in this nice fashion. You can track your food. Of course, you can track all your numbers, the A1C, blood pressure, cholesterol. The good news is then if and it's all color coded. Of course, you can track your sugars here. So all these numbers, diabetes is a number game. So we are able to track all these numbers. And then for many of you, you might not be aware that I like dancing, which is one of my fun activity. That's why I created this score called Disco, which I think really tells you about your health. So all these numbers can then come into one number called Disco. So think about that as an option for tracking as well. But if paper works better for you, for me, the calendar in front of my weighing machine works the best. And so I use that. And for me, that's a great motivator when I see a number that's not in the right direction. So tracking is such a huge part of achieving success.
Before we wrap things up, I like the comment that Curtis made. He has a quote on there. Don't compare yourself to someone else. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That is awesome. I
Beautiful.
like that quote.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think at this point, we're ready to kind of talk through what we want for. I'm going to skip the poll. Excuse me. We're running out of time. I want to talk more about this buddy system and what we're thinking to do on the DiaBuddy system. Here at Iowa Diabetes, we want to help you guys achieve your goals. And we want to give you a system in order to help you do that. So we thought of this DiaBuddy system, so Diabetes Buddy, somebody that you can check in with via Facebook. You can do direct messaging with them back and forth on Facebook, however much you want. Somebody to help you get motivated, stay on track, and provide the support because you know they're watching some of the same things that you are, working with us. You know they're hopefully probably living in Iowa as well, so they're going through the same weather type cycles, and it just helps having somebody in your wheel, in your yard to back you up. So we created this, and it's really for you to use as much or as little as you want. In addition, we are going to be providing different prompts and different things to help you guys stay motivated through Facebook. So what you can expect from us is a different post on Facebook. Have you evaluated your work, your progress on your goal this week? Try manifesting. And so we're going to do some different posts every single week to help get the conversation around the accountability towards your goal going. So we do have about 10 people that have signed up. If you're wanting to sign up, you can type in the chat, hey, I want a partner. We actually have some that have already signed up that we don't have partners for that aren't on this list. So if you don't see your name on this list, that's because we're waiting for a partner for you. But right now, these are the partners that we have set up that you guys can reach out to. The good thing is I've seen a lot of your guys' names already in this Facebook Live today. So on this video today. So you guys can start connecting right now. And if you need help finding each other, reach out to us through Facebook, and Casey will help guide you and get you guys connected.
So, Jamie, question. When you say check in with each other via Facebook, are you saying on the Iowans with Diabetes page?
They can do
Or
it either way. So
either
they
way? Okay,
they can message each other on the Iowans with Diabetes page.
sure.
Just know that if you do that, everybody will be able to read your conversation. But you can also do direct messaging straight to that person also.
Excellent.
Then I see Holly and Rob and Curtis. You guys are wanting in. So
Sure.
Casey will find partners for you guys, and she'll be reaching out as soon as they're assigned.
Excellent. And guys, whatever works for you, but if you do it in the group, just know that it motivates others. We are trying to build this community. If you share in the group, it does help, but whatever makes sense to you guys. But this is great, great thinking. I'm excited about this. It's kind of brings the community that we are trying to build to a more individual level and starts providing some support to each other. So that's great.
Yeah. And then, as I promised, we get to talk about the Community Builder Award. So, the Community Builder Award for April, that person who went above and beyond trying to support people within us, is Janice McFarland. She is going to get a $20 Amazon gift card. So just send us a message with your contact information and we will get that to you. Congratulations, Janice.
Thank you, Janice. That's great.
And Dr. B, um, at this point, we're kind of wrapping up. What would be your top 3 tips for staying motivated or keeping your goal?
Yeah. So I think when you make the goals pleasant and enjoyable, they should give you some joy. I think that makes it much easier. Second, I would just say track, track, and track. Just track. Don't worry about whether you're doing the rest of it or not, how you're doing, just track. That simple mechanism of tracking, writing makes it so much better. And the third thing is what I learned from today is celebrate those small victories, celebrate and get the pleasure out of it. So those are 3 things I would like to say as the 3 key things from my standpoint to making and achieving goals.
Yeah, I would agree. I think my 3, frequent reassessment. So that reevaluation, is it the right goal? How am I doing? And really taking the time to do that. Staying motivated through this. I learned, that manifesting process. It's something that I haven't formally thought of or heard about prior to this talk, but as I read more about it, I was like, I actually talked to my kids about forms of this manifesting as I'm talking and working through life lessons with them. So I really like that. And I think it's a good philosophy. And then for me, it's that accountability friend, either a family
Yeah.
member or somebody within this group, and keeping yourself accountable to yourself and to that other member is actually extremely helpful. So I think it's awesome that we now have such an active group to make it happen. Um, Now, as we are looking towards our next session, I'm excited about this topic. I'm excited about all of our topics, but I think that's because I plan the sessions. But I'm excited about this topic because I get to bring in one of my friends, Nate Newman. I work with Nate at Drake, and we're going to be talking about movement as medicine. And Nate is a associate professor of the athletic training program at Drake. And so he comes with an extensive exercise and teaching philosophy on how to teach exercise to many different populations. He works not only with athletes, but people with chronic diseases. So excited to bring him in and talk with him about this topic.
So the big thing here is we've talked about writing a script for exercise because if we write that script, hopefully we don't have to write the script for a medication. So for me, the big part is more movement is less pills. And as one of our audience members said today, hey, I use the fear. I don't want to take more medications. So, well, here's an answer, more movement. And this will be fun and this will be practical and you'll be able to personalize and take things specific for you in this program. So please join us and spread the word. I think that's it today. So thank you everyone for joining today in our attempt to reignite our goals. And I think we might do something in the diabetes month in November. And of course, we'll start a big one next January. Perhaps inside our portal. So lots of things in this path. I'm just excited about the community we're building. The Diabuddy system is I'm just excited about seeing how it goes. So thank you everyone for joining and in our quest to changing diabetes together in Iowa. Thank you.